Hi, this is Luke with CDL PowerSuite here today to show you the student financing feature within CDL PowerSuite. This feature is designed to assist your students in receiving loans to help pay for their tuition at your school. Let's check it out. We have integrated with Klarna and Afterpay to create a seamless process for your students to go through the CDL PowerSuite enrollment while simultaneously getting approved for funding for their tuition costs. This new financing feature is available through packages. So what you would do is you would create a custom package that has financing enabled. And so you will not want to add this setting onto your existing packages because then your students would never see those packages when they are enrolling through your enrollment link on your website. The finance enabled packages are only available to the admins at this time, so you would need to send the student the invite. So that being said, you would want to create a new package and it can duplicate your existing packages, but you would want to turn on the financing payments option within that package. So when you create that package, you will also want to include the master charges that are going to apply to that specific package because that is going to be the tuition amount that the students are going to try to get approved for through the financing tool. And so in here, I have 4,900 as our total tuition costs. We have Class A CDL training, enrollment fee, and exam fee. And so those are all in there. And so the students will see those when they are going through the application process and trying to get approved for the funds through either Klarna or Afterpay. Once you have your package created for the financing options, then what you can do is you can send invites to your students through CDL PowerSuite. So all you have to do is go through the normal process, create a student, and once you've filled in all of their personal information, such as first name, last name, and email, you will need to select the finance enabled package for your student. And so once you do that, then this amount for buy now, pay later field will show up. And so this gives you a couple different options. What you can do is you can choose whether the financing provider would be Klarna or Afterpay. And as you can see on here, Klarna has a $10,000 limit and Afterpay has a $4,000 limit. And so since my tuition is 4,900, if I were to choose Afterpay, then that amount is going to go down to 4,900 for what they could potentially get approved for, or sorry, to 4,000. But if I go back to Klarna, then it goes back up to that 4,900. And then also with this field here, you can enter in custom amounts. So if you have a feeling that this student will not get approved for the full $4,900 amount, then you can type in a custom amount. So let's just say we want to try $2,000 through Klarna. And so I could send the student the invite for $2,000. They would go through the process of trying to get approved for that amount. And if they are approved for that amount, you can either leave it at that and collect payment however else you please, or you could also send them another invite for Afterpay to cover the rest of the amount. And so they can try to get approved for that as well. So you can stack these two financing providers on top of each other to help your student get their full tuition funded. For this example today, I am going to go the full amount through Klarna. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Create Student. And then once that invite's the student will receive an invite that's going to look slightly different from what they typically would receive. And here is what that invite will look like. So they are going to see your school's logo as normal. It's going to say, "Great news, your training package supports Klarna financing." And then it's going to tell them what Klarna is, how to use it, and ask them if they are ready to get started. And so this will look similar for the Afterpay option as well. Obviously, it will all be explaining Afterpay and how that process works instead. And so then all your student needs to do, they just go ahead and they click begin now. And once they click begin now, that will take them straight to the Klarna process. And so they're going to see what their total charges are, their total credits, which would be any discounts that you may be added to their account for them to help get financed. And then it's going to also show the itemized breakdown down at the bottom. And so then what I can do is I can go ahead and I can click proceed to Klarna. Click that. And so one part that is skipped because I have gone through this process already before is the phone number verification and the email verification. The student will need to do that as well through their process, but this example is not going to show that here today. And so what we see here is a screen where it would show the multiple different options that could be available. in this demo environment, it's only showing me the 24-month option, just for the example purpose, but they would see an 18-month option, 12-month option, 6-month option, 3-month option, and that would give them an idea of what they could potentially be approved for. This is not telling them that they are approved. This is just kind of that first step in giving them an insight into what it could look like. And so once they go ahead and click continue, then that is going to pull them through to the screen where it will show if they are approved or not approved. And so on this screen, they would have to put in a card for that first payment and for the auto payments. And so this will actually show them what their monthly amount will be. This will show them what each month's payment will be and then what their last month's payment will be as well. And so if we go down here, it shows the APR, the total interest amount there, and then it's also going to have them agree to the truth in lending disclosure. So they'll have to click that. And then they see all that information down here. So it's going to show them the amount of payments, how much their payments will be, when their first payments due, their financing charge, the percentage rate, all of that information in there. And so then it has some examples of late payment charges, prepayment, and then it also will have their credit report down at the very bottom. So once the student has reviewed all this information and they feel okay with it and they're ready to move forward, they're going to go ahead and click confirm payment with Klarna. And once they click that, this will take them right back through the CDL PowerSuite process where they can go through the normal enrollment as they normally would if they were signing up through the regular package. They would sign their agreement, and then that brings them right into their CDL PowerSuite portal, and then they can continue their CDL training process as normal. And so once your student has accepted the loan and they have been approved and everything, then in their profile, what you'll see is this section here where it shows the student has been approved, but the funds have yet to be captured. And so there is a cool down period once the loan is accepted, and that is in accordance to your state's regulations, and that is something that we'll talk about when we set you up for this portal. Another thing that is great is if the student was not approved for this full amount, or if they were approved for the $2,000 amount or whatever you entered in. And this is how you can issue an Afterpay payment to them as well. So you can click this, you can enter in the amount you want them to finance, and then you can send them that invoice and they can go through that process as well. Another thing that's great is if you already have students that are in the software that are not set up with the financing packages, you can change their package, update the student, and then you can issue them either Klarna financing or Afterpay financing. So I can click this, I can say, okay, I want the student to get it for the full. And so if you issue it to someone who has already gone through the enrollment process, they are just going to receive an invite that takes them through the Klarna or Afterpay process. And then they will go through that, see if they get approved. And if they do, great. It'll bring them right back into their student profile, and then they can continue on as normal. And that is our student financing feature within CDL PowerSuite. Thank you for watching this video today. And if you have any questions or would like to get set up with this program, please give me a call at 509 508 3438. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.